Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Health Made Simple Show. I'm your host, Dr. Bart, and today, a great conversation. We do a deep dive, an herbal spotlight today on the herb called berberine. And many of you have started to hear about berberine, and you're starting to think and wonder if this would be good for me. Today, I'm going to walk you through what berberine is, why we use it clinically, and who is this good for. So, that being said, keep doing your thing, keep sharing this out, keep spreading love. I appreciate all that you guys are doing. We keep getting responses. We keep seeing the 5-star reviews. So thank you. That helps us. So if you can, continue to give us 5-star reviews wherever you listen to these podcasts, Spotify, Apple, whatever it may be. By doing so and then adding comments and asking questions, that gives us more opportunity, more traction, quite frankly, to reach more people. And that's the whole idea. And today we're going to continue in the theme of just trying to keep it simple. Why are so many people talking about berberine? I know I'll answer that reason why they're talking about it now. It's been around for thousands of years. Yet nonetheless, who's it good for and how do we use it clinically? So with that being said, welcome to another episode and let's dive in. So berberine. Right now, I get the question very frequently, Doc, should I be using berberine? And the reason that so many people are talking about this herb, and it's a little yellow herb, very bitter tasting. It's been around for thousands of years. Very popular in Ayurvedic medicine, very popular in Chinese medicine, and amongst functional medicine practitioners and anyone out there using herbs as part of helping people get healthier. Very common, very popular. We've been using this for long periods of time, and I'll explain the uses in just a moment here. So we're hearing more about this because if you're on social media, whatnot, you're hearing more and more people talk about berberine as being the natural form of Ozempic, that this works better than Ozempic for things like weight loss. And I'll start right off and tell you, no, it doesn't. So I use berberine in my clinic on a regular basis, but to match it apples for apples in terms of does this help people cut weight like Ozempic does? Not even close. Does it help people cut weight? The answer is yes. And I'm going to dive into that and why we use it and the mechanism by which it goes by. By which it facilitates those changes. So is it very good? Does it help people cut weight? Yes. Is it a comparison to Ozempic, some of the weight loss drugs that we see out there? No, especially when you start ramping those drugs up. We're seeing a lot of the ramping of those drugs up regardless of their side effects. So we see them often in some unhealthy levels and unhealthy manners. So this is an opportunity for us to look at the big picture. Here's the biggest difference between maybe Ozempic and herbs like berberine, or even we could throw like cinnamon in there. The biggest difference is this: to make these herbs work and make them effective, they're going to also require lifestyle. They're going to require things like you to change your diet, require things to potentially get more sleep in your life so you have more metabolic function, more metabolic activity. It might require things like exercise. When you take a drug that basically overrides your body and it dictates what it's going to do now and in the future, you don't need to change those things. That's a bummer because then you eventually need that drug for the rest of time. Otherwise, you'll go back to where you were and sometimes even worse. And now we see a lot of promoters, and this certainly is not a podcast about Ozempic. The challenge here is that that's what it's being compared to. So I want to throw that comparison out, and yet at the same time, tell you that it is one of my absolutely favorite herbs, and I use it in many situations, which I want to share with you right now because we get such amazing results, and the benefits and the studies behind it are absolutely fantastic. All right, so when do I typically use this? This is how simple it is and how amazing it is. Any case I get that there is a blood glucose management issue, that means all type 2 diabetes folks, all diabetics, all high blood glucose, all blood sugar management issues, all metabolic disease, berberine is on the table, meaning that we're most likely going to use this in part of our protocol to help the body improve function so we can start to manage things like blood glucose and diabetes and whatnot. I'll also use it anytime I see high lipid levels. Yes, cholesterols, high LDLs, high triglycerides, high particle sizes. Anytime I see these types of issues taking place, most likely the first thing we're going to utilize in terms of a protocol, if we're going to use some herbs, is going to be berberine. So with that being said, do I use it frequently? Do the other healthcare practitioners, the functional medicine docs out there, are we using berberine commonly almost in every protocol, whether it be lipid management and or blood glucose management? The answer is yes. Why do we put so many people on it? Because think about those two topics. How many people have issues with their glucose, blood sugars, Most people do. How many people have issues with insulin resistance? And by the way, it is my home run product for anyone that has insulin resistance. I'm going to dive into that in just a moment here. But and then we think about cholesterols with so much conversation right now, and I love the conversations that are taking place about cholesterols right now. They're really challenging the predominant thought that we've been trained for literally, probably the last 50 years that cholesterol is bad. We're having so many great conversations. I think they're great conversations to question kind of the authority of why are cholesterol so bad? If mother's milk has cholesterol, if good healthy foods have cholesterol, is cholesterol really the problem here? Or is it possibly the inflammatory process taking place in the body that's causing our body to need more repair agents like LDLs? And therefore, we have to look at more things like lifestyle versus just cholesterols. All right. So Berberine, again, the big reason we're having so many conversations right now is because often it is having a direct comparison to Ozempic. It is not that. And I also am not an advocate of overriding your body where you do not have to change your belief patterns, where you do not have to change your actions. And all you do is take a drug to override this mechanism, this thing that we call our human body that God gave us. I always think that there's going to be a shortcoming after that. I understand how many lives have been affected in a positive manner by using some drugs and medications, and I also see firsthand the other side of that as well. So let's go back to berberine for a moment here. Been around for thousands of years. Traditionally, it's been thought of in Chinese medicine as helping improve liver function, and that's where the cholesterols come in. As your liver function increases, your ability to metabolize your cholesterols and how they're bound up in the actual liver and how they're going to release LDLs. So some technical stuff that goes in deep into those studies. Yet nonetheless, we do see some studies showing that berberine can help us lower LDLs and lower triglycerides and lower total cholesterols. And because it's such a safe herb, and again, anytime we talk about herbs and protocols, make sure that you always check with your doctor and make sure that you get some advice from them about how to take and when to take, etc. This is not medical advice that I'm sharing with you. And you know that this is a disclaimer that I always have to share with you. So if I ever forget, add this one to that conversation. Nonetheless, berberine has over the years been shown to help people lose weight, and it's been also shown to help people manage lipid levels in a very nice, healthy way, better than certain medications, quite frankly. So if we have a nice and natural herb that we've seen thousands of years being used in to help increase human function when it comes to cholesterol management, it's no wonder that is for us as practitioners, whether you're a naturopath, you're a functional medicine, functional nutritional doctor, this is why we use it so frequently and because we get great results with it. Doesn't mean you can just take this as if it's a medication and expect changes in results. And I will tell you, no, you shouldn't really do that. Remember, it is about a lifestyle, improving the way that you eat, and then supporting your body to speed this process up by using supplements. Supplements give us an opportunity to essentially shorten the time frame that we can help remove the toxicities, and we also can fix up some of the deficiencies. So it's always a little bit of everything. So berberine has also been shown to help things like reduce C-reactive protein. For those of you who have done a little deeper dive into your lab work, C-reactive protein is an inflammatory marker that we use to see how much inflammation is in the inside of your arteries. So if we can use an herb that downregulates the inflammation on the inside of your arteries, folks, we're talking about decreasing the potential for heart disease, which is the number one killer in our country. So right now we're talking about lowering lipids, blood glucose management, lowering the inflammation in the arteries. So you can see why the real reason berberine should be so popular is because it has the ability to affect so many positive mechanisms in the human body. And along with some decent diet changes and some decent exercise and lifestyle things like getting more sun, putting your feet on the ground every day, getting a little bit of extra rest, putting a smile on your face, we can really start to utilize herbs. And this is one of many, many herbs that really have great impacts. Frankly, herbs have been used for thousands of years, thousands and thousands of years as ways for us to bridge our health back to better places, helping our bodies function a little bit better. And today's no different. We just now the beauty is we have the research and the data that shows that these things are true here. So, do we need to change our diet and have a little bit of all the other benefits of lifestyle? We absolutely do. Taking berberine by itself, thinking that it's going to operate like Ozempic, I don't believe that's true. I haven't seen any of those results here. Do I take berberine myself? I absolutely do. Do I take a low dose? I do. Here's typically how I recommend it. And again, please check with your doctors. But typically, what I'll start, and I'll make sure there's a link in the show notes today on where you can get it. As usual, the quality is always king, and the dosing will matter as well. So I use something called Berberine Active. It's from Standard Process. Actually, it's from a company called MediHerb. That's out of Australia. They do an amazing job. They probably have some of the best herbs in the world. So we typically get most of our herbs from there. Having a little berberine sprinkled in a capsule or a tablet where there's 50 other things won't get the job done. So typically what I'll have people do is start off with about 4 tablets. Each tablet is about 400 milligrams. And which means in the beginning, I'd only do that for about 30 days. And then I start to down regulate it. So then I'll go right away to just 2 a day. So that'd be 4 a day, 2 twice a day. Then I go to 2 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon. And I'll do that for another 30 days. And then we down regulate to just 1 twice a day. And then eventually just 1. And I'll keep people on berberine anywhere from about 90 to 120 days. And we're weaning down off of it. Part of the reason is as your body starts to get better at it, you won't need as much. Remember, all of your vitamins that you're taking, all your herbs, all your minerals, they are competing with the other foods and nutrients that you're putting in your body. So if you are putting bad food, you're having alcohol every night, eating processed foods, a lot of these processed seed oils are going in there, and it's just making your liver work so much harder. Yes, you're going to have less benefit from your vitamins, herbs, and minerals. So make sure you're making a conscious decision about if you're going to spend time, energy, and resources on putting all these great things in your body, make sure they get the opportunity to do their job. Many times people come back, well, doc, that didn't work. And then as we navigate the conversation, we'll say, well, you're still drinking a glass of wine every night or whatever it may be. We find, well, yeah, there was a lot of limitations that you put on your body in its ability to just work with anything, never mind these specific herbs. So allow yourself to win this by keeping everything a little bit cleaner. So just a little bit of herbal spotlight here on berberine. Do I love using it in my clinic? Absolutely. I typically will recommend anywhere from I start off maybe as close as high as to maybe 1,800. Because the tablets I use are, I think they're about 440. I'm going to double check that. Yeah, they're 440 milligrams each. I'll start as high as about 1,700 milligrams for about 30 days. And then I just start to wean that down until we're just using 1 tablet, which is about 440 milligram. And that will, usually after about 90 to 120 days, I'll pull them off. I might have to go back on if the lipid levels are still high cholesterols. I'll often use this as part of the protocol to help their body naturally start to balance out proper and healthy and good, strong, good cholesterol. So does it help? And I guess to the question, does it help burn fat? The answer is yes. It helps the liver metabolize your fats better. So you become a better fat burning machine simultaneously. And this is why just talking about this excites me, that I'd love everyone to be utilizing a little bit of berberine on and off. So we help lipid metabolism with the liver, but we also help manage blood glucose levels. And for most people, those are the 2 biggest challenges when it comes to their metabolic health, their ability to lose weight, etc. Keep in mind what I keep mentioning here. It is not a drug. It will not manipulate the system by itself. It's going to need your support, which means lifestyle, improving your diet, crossing those bridges. Make sure you're doing something that's probably a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit inconvenient, and maybe even unfamiliar in the beginning when it comes to changing your health. All right, with that being said, I hope you've enjoyed another episode of Health Made Simple Show. Keep doing your thing, keep sharing it out, keep spreading the love, and I will see you on the next episode of the Health Made Simple Show.